Welcome to our special webinar, Advisor Architect for Accountants. We're rolling out here at Tax Coach a new program which many of you have been requesting for years. It is a personalized coaching program that includes systemization of your tax practice, taking a deep dive into your tax practice and having us assist you every step of the way to implement systems that you badly need, and that you can therefore work more on your practice instead of in your practice. So I'm Lisa Wells from Tax Coach. I think I've met a few of you I see who are attending this webinar, and hope to meet more of you, especially if you're interested in this program. So joining me today is Dan Cuprill. He is the founder of Advisor Architect program, and Dan and I have been working together for 6 months now, adapting his Advisor Architect program to tax practices, and we're really excited here, Ed and Keith and I at Tax Coach, to offer this program to you. So Dan, take it away.
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to thank you all for making time out of your day. I know you all have a lot to do, and so it means a lot to us for you to do that, and I'm confident that you're going to find this to be time well spent. So before we get started, do yourself a huge favor and limit your distractions. It's very easy to try to work in the background, or at least put us on the background while you work. I'm going to ask you not to do that. So turn off your applications, turn off your phone, shut your door. You've signed up for this. Let's give you the opportunity to get something out of it. Even if ultimately you decide it's not for you, I'm pretty confident you're going to walk away with something that you're going to find to be of value. So to get started, I want to first tell you a little bit about me. I am a certified financial planner. I am not a CPA. I began Advisor Architect 2 years ago, largely because a lot of financial advisors had reached out to me asking for advice on how I run my practice. I have a fairly large practice compared to the average in terms of client base and assets that I manage, but I have a very small practice in terms of overhead. We work with about 220 families across the country, 20 states actually, and we manage about $200 million. And I'm able to do that all with a staff of just one full-time person, support person. And actually, I wouldn't even call it full-time because I give her Friday afternoons off. The reason we've been, yeah, well, for her, yeah. You know, if you prorate that in terms of money, that's like giving her a heck of a bonus. But in any event.
No kidding.
I know. But in any event, the reason that I was able to do that was almost from the beginning, largely because of my background. I had created a very systems-oriented practice. And one of the things that I discovered was that the systems that I use in my business, really they're transferable to any business, whether you be a financial advisor, whether you be an accountant, whether you be a retailer. The thing that we're going to emphasize throughout this entire program is that if you do have a systems-based practice, you're going to maximize your profitability, and more importantly, you're going to maximize the equity value in your practice, because if you are not an essential part of it as it relates to the day-to-day operation, you're more working on your business rather than in your business, well then your business is always going to be worth a lot more. So I'm going to be sharing with you those systems as we go. I'm also located in Cincinnati along with the folks here at Tax Coach. And but before I get into the program, Lisa, why don't you tell them all a little bit about you in case some haven't met you before.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I've been with Tax Coach for about 7 years now, and one of the projects that I did early on is I offered a business evaluation to some of our more advanced members in the advanced program. And what I found in doing that was that, you know, everyone enjoyed what they were doing, but they were kind of floundering around as to how to pull it all together and how to really take some of the feedback from their clients and incorporate that into different procedures on how to improve their business. So I originally had a background in market research, and as I was doing these individual consulting calls with folks and evaluating their practices, I thought, wow, that would be a fantastic product to offer. But at that time we were a small company, and we didn't really have the time or the wherewithal to do it. So that got me excited about this product and working with Dan. My background is in marketing. I originally had gotten an MBA from Northwestern in marketing and finance, and then went on to be a product director for a couple Fortune 500 companies, running businesses for them. And you might say, well, how did you take that to the small business environment? Well, really, all the theories and techniques in marketing are the same. Whether you're marketing Reach toothbrushes, which I have done, or you're marketing tax practices. Really, the strategies and what you do are very, very similar, that they can be parlayed from one industry to the other. And just one of the things that I'll mention before I turn it back over to Dan is I was actually a CPA for KPMG right out of college. So I was an auditor, and I try not to mention that to folks because it was so long ago. And I don't want anyone to rely on my accounting expertise anymore, because it's very outdated and overshadowed by the marketing expertise. So Dan, with that?
Yeah, we won't ask you any tax questions.
Thank you.
All right. So first of all, anytime you're participating in something like this, it's very important to understand if it's the right fit for you. So I'm going to throw you out some qualifiers right away. You're in the right place. You're going to find what we're about to share with you to be very helpful. If after tax season every year you're feeling a little bit unsatisfied, that there's something about the way your practice is, it's maybe just not what you thought it was going to be whenever you got started. So if you're my age, in your early 50s, the vision you might have had in your 30s when the tax season ends, if there's that feeling in your gut that says, this isn't really what I thought I was bargaining for, then you're going to like what we have to share. If you feel like you've got a job instead of a business, and this is something very common to just about every business owner, is that we all thought that when we became self-employed that we would get this huge amount of freedom. But in reality, many of us just exchanged one boss for another, a visible boss when we work for a company to an invisible boss, which is the company that we've started and that we've become in many ways a slave to, because it's all built around us and nothing exists unless we're there to keep cranking things along. So if you're having that feeling, you're going to like what we have to share. Chances are you've been looking for answers for your business in many different places. Websites, B&I groups, Chamber of Commerce, drip marketing, direct mail. Look, there's a plethora of opportunities that are out there. Many times these are marketing type solutions, and very often what is facing you is a far bigger problem. It's what I'd call a business problem. But you can go crazy if you're looking for opportunities, and there's always going to be somebody who's going to tell you that this works. Now, there's probably a cynical side of you that is asking you, well, why is what Dan's proposing and Lisa's proposing any different? It's a great question. And we're going to get through that as we go forward so that you can make that evaluation for yourself. But like I said before, you don't probably have a true marketing problem. You just don't have what I would call a formula to have the type of business that you wanted. And if you don't have that system in place, then not only are you probably winging it, but you're not going to be able to transfer those responsibilities to other people to ultimately give you the freedom that you want. How do I know? Well, again, I'm not a CPA, but I can assure you the challenges that I have in my business were very much the same as yours. Look, I wanted three things when I said I was no longer going to work for somebody else. I wanted a profit-driven enterprise. I didn't really care about revenue. I cared about what I was taking home, which actually amongst financial advisors, believe it or not, is quite rare. They've all been motivated to hit sales goals and not even worry about profit, which is absurd. Fortunately, accountants tend to look at it a little differently. I wanted freedom from working in my business. In other words, I wanted to be able to go away and find out that my business was still making money. I didn't want a situation where I was going to have to be there in order to make money. And therefore, I wanted a systematized business that had a systematized marketing approach, but not even just marketing. All areas were systematized, so that if somebody were to leave my business, sliding somebody into it would be very easy to do. But also, there would be a lot of things that were working behind the background. And if you're that way, if you would like to know that your business is actually acquiring new clients and setting up appointments for you and moving out communication to clients while you're sleeping, then again, what you're about to see, I think, is going to be quite helpful. One of the things that I noticed very early as I was building my practice was in my use of vendors to assist me, whatever that might be, and in the financial services side tends to be product related, that in reality nobody cared if I was profitable but me. Nobody really cared about whether I was satisfied. They just wanted me to keep selling their stuff or buying their stuff. And I saw that there was almost this groupthink mentality amongst my peers about this. It was bizarre to me that nobody was really thinking about the end of the day, how much were they putting in their portfolio.
And Dan, I have felt that way about marketing shysters.
Yes.
So many CPAs out there are barraged with marketing folks who specialize in SEO, who specialize in websites, who specialize in this, that. And they're really not looking out to figure out what is the proper marketing mix that is going to drive your company in a way that satisfies you in the target that you're trying to reach. And that's one of the other reasons we've developed this program, is that we can begin with the vision, your vision.
Exactly.
And if you don't have one, we'll help you develop it.
Yeah, because as you're about to see, this isn't really about what we think is best for you. It's dealing with what you want to do. So here's some of the things we need to understand. Bringing in more clients isn't going to create profit for you. Systems are going to create profit for you. And profit, and only profit, is going to give you the freedom that you want as a business owner. So in essence, by default, systems equal freedom. And as soon as you understand this, I think you're going to be in a position to take your business to a much higher level. I imagine many of you probably read the book, The E-Myth. And if you're like most people, you read it, you were impressed, and then you put it away. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take what the E-Myth taught, which is how to systematize your business for ultimate freedom, and actually put it to use for you. So where do we start? Well, the first thing is, let's stop looking at your business like an accounting firm. Let's look at it like a business. And to do that, the first thing that we will do is, if you are a member of our program, is we will meet face-to-face with you in person here in Cincinnati to get a clear understanding about your story, what you want to do, and then we're going to evaluate you in a way that only an outsider can. As much as you want to think you can be objective about your practice, trust me, you can't. It's against human nature. It's kind of like investments. No one can be completely logical about their portfolio. Emotion gets in the way. And the same is true when it comes to our business. If you've ever seen the TV show Shark Tank, I'm sure you all have. If you haven't, it's on almost every single night on CNBC. That's when they do the replays. But just to kind of give you an idea, every day they have people with small businesses come and they meet in front of a bunch of venture capitalists. And they're being drilled with questions. They're questions about their profitability, their marketing, their sales, their staffing, their quality control, their automation, their succession. What you will find is that if they don't have systems in place for all these things, one of the first things that gets told to them is, you don't have a business. You have an idea. And an idea is not what these folks are looking to invest in. These people are looking to invest in a business that they can scale and, in essence, actually make the founder somewhat irrelevant to the day-to-day operations, so that you get to where you've always wanted to be, I think, which is, instead of working in your business, you're working more on your business. So the likely question is, what's your system? What are your systems? Now, I'm sure you have some. The question here is, have you systematized as much as you should, and are they really working? Now, before we get into the systems, let's state what I think is pretty obvious, why they're important. You may have noticed, and I don't know if this is necessarily a good thing, but no matter where you go in the country, if you go into a McDonald's and you order, say, a quarter pounder with cheese and fries, it's basically going to taste the same. Doesn't matter where you go. In fact, recently there was a movie out about the founding of McDonald's called The Founder. And that was one of the things they struggled with early on, was there was no consistency. So what systems are going to do is give you this level of consistency that you can improve upon over time. But more importantly, you're going to be able to transfer a lot of that to staff because it's no longer something that's just in your head. It's actually been documented in the process, and in many cases, it's completely automated. Obviously, these systems are going to allow you more free time, but as I said before, it's going to dramatically increase your business value. Because if someday, if you want to sell your practice, and you yourself are not an essential part to the day-to-day operation, your business is actually worth a heck of a lot more than if you are critical to it. And obviously, lastly, this is going to allow you to scale it. So for those of you who have ambitions to expand beyond, a system-based practice is going to allow you to do that. You're not going to be limited. Let me give you a great example of a system. FedEx. You know, we don't really think about it, but right now if I wanted to, I could ship something to California overnight. It would land on someone's desk. Now, we've been doing this for so long, we don't really give it a lot of thought. But just think about the systems that are behind the delivery of an envelope. It's already been predetermined who's going to come get it and what truck. It's then going to be brought to a distribution system. It's going to be placed on a certain conveyor belt. It'll ultimately be loaded onto another truck, which will be taken to the airport, which will then be put on another conveyor belt to be put into an airplane, be flown across country, and the complete thing will happen all over again. The plane will be emptied, the package will be put on a different series of conveyor belts. It'll ultimately be delivered to a certain truck for a certain driver to drop it in on someone's desk. There's no winging it at all. Now, while all this is going on, the chairman of FedEx, Fred Smith, he could be down in the Bahamas. He doesn't care. He knows the system is up and running. Now, you don't get here overnight. I understand that. But I just want you to see how successful businesses have mastered this and why this is an essential part of every business, whether you be in accounting, financial services, retail. It really doesn't matter. Now, as I look at your business, and the one thing I want you to please try your hardest not to say these words, my business is different. Because if I had a dime for every time somebody said that, I could show them that they were wrong and I'd be a rich man. The truth of the matter is your business really isn't a whole lot different than anyone else's. Doesn't matter what industry you are. You need certain things. So the first thing you need is a vision. You need a system whereby your vision is created, is documented, and from that your systems are built. You need a profitability system, a system that through your cash flow not only assures that you are making your profit goals first, but that you are also working with your clients in a way that you are maximizing the revenue you get per client. You need a marketing system, a selling system, an automation system, a referral system, a client retention system, and lastly, a succession system. So what we're going to do is give you kind of a brief overview. Now, we've named these systems, and you can see them here. You know, your vision, profit motive, intentional marketing, kill the caveman, automate this, Robo-Referrals, client for life, and passing the torch. Now, the people that we work with, Lisa and I will personally take you through each system one at a time. Let's begin with the first one, knowing your vision. You know, again, it's your practice. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what makes a good practice or not. I mean, certainly I understand certain things that go into it. But whether you want it to be a one-person operation or you want to expand into financial services or you want to bring in other people, that starts with you. So very important that we first get an understanding of what your vision is. What are you truly excited about? And that is then going to help us to modify a systematic strategy for you going forward. So when you come to Cincinnati, the first thing we're going to do is take you through this exercise. We're going to study your business. We're going to look at your numbers. If you're not into sharing, this program's not for you. If you're not into constructive criticism, this program is not for you, all right? But I will tell you it goes both ways. So we're going to encourage feedback from you as well.
So one thing, I'm sorry for interrupting you there. Yep. So while you're going to state where your business wants to go, we're going to be getting to know you and understand how you approach your client differently, what types of clients you like working for, what you bring to the party that is a little bit unique. While Dan said there isn't a lot of differences between tax practices, that's largely true of the outcome or can be true of the outcome, but what's different is the way you approach clients and how you deliver your services that is going to be different. So while we're going to dissect your business with you and figure out where you want to go, we're also going to combine that with what we feel and you feel are your core strengths and what really floats your boat, which really gets you passionate about the business. So we develop a vision that is truly going to be successful, but not only successful, you're going to be happy about it when you get there. You're going to feel you're successful.
Right.
As opposed to the way you may feel now after, on April 16th through this year, the 19th.
Right. There's only one caveat, and that is that we have to come into an agreement that the purpose of your business is to be profitable. Now, for some of you, that may actually be an issue, to view profit as being something so paramountly important. Look, you all know you don't exist if you're not profitable. But understand this. Good things in your life will come by you maximizing your profitability, your ability to work with your family and have time with your family, your ability to help other people. So we're always going to be looking at that through that kind of a telescope. What sense does this make from a profitability? And that gets us to our second system, the profit motive. The profit motive is all about getting an understanding of the metrics of our business that go simply beyond the P&L statement. How much does a new client cost? How much profit do you make on every dollar you spend on marketing? How much profit are you projected to earn this quarter? What percentage of your clients do you also have their children as clients? The reality here is that in most cases, there's a lot more opportunities to get revenue from existing clients than we have. Too often, we just tend to take whatever it is the client is willing to give us. It doesn't have to be that way. You can set up your system whereby you are providing only a holistic and comprehensive service for your clients. And if you do that, you will dramatically maximize your profits. Profit needs to be your primary goal. And to that extent, if any of you have read Mike Michalowicz's book, Profit First, well, you will when you take this program. Michalowicz talks about rewriting the typical GAAP accounting equation of revenue minus expense equals profit and switch it around to revenue minus profit equals expense. Now, what's so encouraging or actually cool about working with accountants with this program is that we're not only going to show you a cash flow management system that's going to guarantee your profits, but this is going to create a whole new service that you're going to be able to provide to your business clients. And you're going to be able to show them using the techniques that we've learned from Mike on how to make their business far more profitable for them simply by changing the focus of what they do. Too often business owners focus only on revenue. They believe that as long as I keep selling and spending money on marketing, I'll get the profit that I need. And it just doesn't work that way. If that was true, well, Uber would be the most profitable company in the world instead of losing billions of dollars each and every quarter. The next system is intentional marketing. And what we're going to do is we're going to help you develop a strategy that is the key to every successful marketing program known to man. Every program that has ever worked has gotten three things right. And every program that has failed has gotten at least one of them wrong. For you to have a successful marketing program, you need to deliver the right message to the right market using the right media. And you know what? If you're just going to look like every other accounting firm in your state, you're not going to stand apart. So what we're going to be doing here is challenging you to come up with a message that separates you from all others. Let me give you an example. So I'm a financial planner. Over 90% of the revenue that I get comes from asset management. But you know what? My marketing never talks about asset management. You know what it talks about? Tax-free retirement. I don't sell a lot of life insurance. All I do is talk about the fact that qualified plans will be taxed in the future. And if you look at the demographical changes that we're faced with, the amount of money you have in that qualified plan in reality may be less to you in the future if you don't take some steps to minimize the tax. That's all I talk about. Now, in the end, I'm developing a comprehensive plan that might have a little bit of tax strategy recommendations in it, but may not have a lot. The point is, I'm getting attention. I'm talking about something that very few of my competitors are, and it's the same with you. We need to help you come up with a message that gets people to listen. Because let's face it, if we're just going to talk about the basics of accounting or taxes, we probably aren't going to draw a lot of attention. So first thing is to do, we have to script a message that's going to work with your target market. And target market is important. No, we don't want to position you as a generalist to all people. And I know what you're saying. If I get too narrow a target market, then some people that are working with me now won't want to work with me. No, that's just simply not true. The evidence would suggest far otherwise. Every day there are people who go into the Mercedes-Benz dealerships and buy cars that, quite frankly, Mercedes could care less if they sold them to from a target marketing standpoint, but they've got the money, they'll do it. Just last week, I met a realtor who admitted that she couldn't afford the car that she had, but in her mind, she had arrived. Well, you know, she doesn't watch the golf tournaments that Mercedes markets to, but she wanted that association. Having an effective and clearly defined target market is going to make your marketing so much more effective. And then lastly, of course, the media. How do we deliver this message in a way that our target market is likely to hear it? Well, that's going to depend on who your target market is. Now, of course, we also want to do all of this in a very cost-effective manner. So in building your profitability model, what we're going to be talking about is the parameters, the limits, the benchmarks that you're going to be willing to set for the amount of money that you're willing to invest to grow your practice. The fourth system is what I like to call kill the caveman. It's a selling system. Why kill the caveman? Well, traditional selling says you chase people down, you beat them on the head with features and benefits, you wear them down, and you take whatever they will give you. The problem is today people don't need you for the services you provide. They can get them on their own with their laptop. You know it, I know it. Now, there is a significant percentage of people, however, who don't want to do business that way. But the people who would rather work on their own, they're still more than willing to take your free time. They're still willing to use you if you let them use you. So what we need is a selling system designed to, in today's economy, to uncover the ideal clients. And in essence, what you're going to be doing is spending your time in the first meeting not trying to tell them why they need you, but rather the other way around. You need a selling system that in less than 30 minutes, you will determine if this person is an ideal fit for you. And if they are, you will offer your services and they will accept them. If they're not, you will not offer your services. You will be in control. And we're going to take you through the entire methodology to use, the questions to ask, and more importantly, what you need to look for. The next system is automate this. Look, you know as well as I do how much automation has become a bigger and bigger player. It's one of your biggest competitors. The fact that when it comes to basic tax planning, which some of you may not even want to do anymore, but the reality is they can do it. They can do it on their own. But there's huge amounts of automation that most businesses are ignoring for their own benefit. I always like to make the comment that, you know, I have a very well-paid office manager. Therefore, I can't afford for her to be doing $15 an hour work because she makes twice that amount. Therefore, I need to have the computer do that type of work. There's so many things that can be automated within a practice that tend not to be, or if they're automated, they're done in a very inefficient manner. New client communication, event registrations, lead generation, annual reviews, follow-up, prospect harvesting, client retention. It goes on and on and on. And largely it's because we don't have a clear understanding about what else is out there. It's changing so rapidly. Look, 10 years ago, we didn't even know what Facebook was. I can remember not that long ago having deep discussions with people as to whether or not our clients would ever use this new thing called email. And you know what? It's just going to change more and more. And if you're not ahead of the curve on this, you can get replaced. Look, Borders Books and Blockbuster Video did not go away because there was a better bookstore or a better video store. They went away because they failed to stay ahead of the curve as it relates to automation. But more than anything, automation is going to help you to keep your costs down, which is why I'm able to run a fairly large practice with very minimal staff.
So before you go on,
Sure.
there's one area which I know is of main concern to most of you, and that is automating your current client communication. And that's something that we're going to work through with you. We call it in marketing touches. Depending on the type of client, how often do you want to reach out to them? What's it going to take to retain that client? What's it going to take to maintain that relationship? And that you can certainly use systems for, but there's an amount of personal interaction you're going to have, but the majority of it you can use systems for.
Well, and not only that, but we'll be providing you with templates that pretty much do 80% or 90% of the work for you. So, for example, in my office, we have ongoing communications to our clients all the time. Because the number one reason that every survey I read as to why clients would ever leave, there's a lack of communication. They feel ignored. And it's not just in financial services. It can be in any industry. If they feel as if they're not getting, they're not being made to feel special, somebody else will come in and take your place. So to have an automated system that does that quite frankly you don't even know is going out there, is a big step. In fact, in many ways, Tax Coach has filled that void for a lot of you, those of you who use the weekly newsletter that they produce. Client for life. All right, let's admit it, you don't keep all your clients. Now, Lisa and I disagree with this. Lisa told me, oh, retention's not an issue. No, it's always an issue. If you lose one client, it's an issue. Understand how important recurring revenue is, and understand that the loss of one client is also the loss of referrals. So what are you doing proactively to make sure that your client stays with you, even if it's just an annual tax client? If you're just sending out the fact finder, if that's it, that's not a system. That's not a system for long-term client retention. A system for long-term client retention not only increases the chances of the client staying with you forever, it also dramatically increases the chances of them to give you referrals. Now, the way in which you can keep your clients attracted and interested is going to be dependent upon you, what your abilities are, what your revenue capabilities are, etc. But understand this, most of your competitors aren't doing any of this. So it's so easy for you to stand apart by blocking off some time to do things like a podcast or having a client appreciation event after tax season every year, sending out the network or email, having some type of regular verbal communication with them, having it planned out. Your competitors, by and large, are not doing any of this, which is why more and more people will tend to leave. Now, taking that and even another step further is the issue of referrals. Look, we all love referrals. Most of us don't ask for them enough. I get it. I know I, for many years, didn't. And it wasn't until I found out how we could do it from an automated standpoint did I start to see the referrals in my business take off. And here's how I do it. First of all, if I ask somebody for a name of somebody who might need my services, quite frankly, they don't really know if the person needs my services. All they can do is give me names. Well, my golf buddies, this guy's a doctor, for example. All right, well, that doctor could very well be totally happy with his current financial advisor. So if I'm asking my clients for true referrals, chances are they can't really give them to me. To me, a true referral is somebody who has outwardly asked them for my help. They say, you know what, I'm not sleeping well at night because of my money. I need somebody who can help me. Who do you work with? That's a true referral. Well, if I'm the one initiating the conversation with my client, it doesn't mean he has a list. He can give me a list of names, but let's understand what that is. That's just a list. Okay, fine. If it's just a list, we can market to that list. So in this system, what we do is we help you to develop items of interest, content that is going to be valuable, so valuable that your clients are going to want to share it. It could be a video course. It could be an article. It could be something that you put together, an ebook. It doesn't really matter. The point is that this information will be valuable enough that your clients will want to share it. And the only way that they'll be sharing it is through the automated system. Now, there's many different automated systems that you can use. I really don't care which one you use. I personally use Infusionsoft, but there's many of them out there. But the point is we can use these automated systems in a way that in delivering this content, by my client hitting a button, entering in his friend's information, I can then deliver it to his friends. And now I have another lead that I can market to in many, many ways going forward. The beauty of it all is this is happening automatically. I don't even know what's going on. Well, I do know what's going on, but I don't know when it's going on because everybody's in a different part of the cycle. It's been automated. But more importantly, when I'm having lunch with a client, I can now take a look and see who they've shared the information with. And I can ask them, would you mind bringing Bill and Mary along with you? I can at least engage that conversation going forward. It's a lot more proactive than for me just on occasion mentioning, hey, if you know of anybody who could need my help, let me know. You will find your list of prospects growing dramatically. And with that, you can do a lot of things as far as increasing your client base.
It also, a lot of you drive your best referrals through clients whom you've done tax plans for and have saved them a boatload of money. And we always encourage you to use that in a conversation to other folks, because it's, hey, if we've saved you $10,000 a year on taxes, you know, maybe your friend, we can offer that service to your friend who also needs a proactive tax accountant to do a tax plan for them. And I know that's quite an uncomfortable topic for most people to start with their friends because they don't want to seem to be selling it. But if you have an automated system, it automatically starts the conversation for your clients. It makes it easy to refer you because your clients will get this content, be interested in it, say, hey, thank you for sharing with me this video. You know, I picked up a couple pointers to use in my business. Thank you very much. That opens the conversation for them to say, oh, yeah, I love my accountant. Let me tell you about him or her, and let me tell you what they've done for me. And, you know, it really does facilitate the process.
Well, and along those lines, the development, which we will assist you with, the development of case studies, very effective way to get referrals if you have it systematized to where you are delivering those case studies to your clients and ultimately asking them to share it with their friends and using the system as the method through which they share. So it's not something that, if they're sharing it, you're going to know they're sharing it, and you're going to know with whom they're sharing it. Lastly is the issue of succession planning, passing the torch. If you look at study after study, well over half the businesses in America do not have any type of succession plan. It puts the owner in a very precarious position as they get older, and sadly, it really does not serve their clients well. We will work with you on that. We will make sure that you have a succession plan. More importantly, we'll show you how to develop a very good one so that ultimately you maximize your long-term profitability. You don't have to sell your business to actually never have to show up in the business. You can, with a systematized practice, be the owner to the day you die and still not show up in the office. And that's what we're going to help you do. So where do you start? Well, again, the succession plan was an issue before. And you know what? I'm going to be completely candid. I think this slide is misplaced. I'm going to be honest with you guys. This slide should not be there. Okay. So here's the thing. You have a choice. These are systems that you can develop on your own. I developed mine on my own through many years of trial and error, looking at what other people were doing, mostly in other industries, not in mine, to see if you can put your own systems together. Or you can jumpstart things. You can put them in place with something that's already working today. Now, again, we're going to be candid with you. We are just now introducing this to accountants. So if you're asking me for examples of where accounting firms have been successful, I'm not going to give them to you because we don't have them. But again, businesses are businesses. And we're going to show you that as we go forward with you. This is a proven step-by-step system. It's a system of systems designed to give you profitability and to cut through a lot of the ambiguity and confusion as you create these things. You're going to know where to go. Yes, we will steer you in the direction of some outside consultants to assist you in some of the things. We're not programmers. We are at best strategists, but we're going to help you. And in many cases, we're going to give you actual content that you can work with. Mm-hmm. So go ahead.
Dan, we have a question here, and sure. It's a really good one that has come up.
Okay.
And here's the question. What size does your firm need to be to benefit from the services and strategies you mentioned? Yeah. And I'll let you answer that, Dan.
Yeah, I've worked with very large practices that have multiple partners, and I've worked with some that are one-shop person. So it really doesn't matter as long as everybody is on the page. Now, because profitability is essential to this program, if somebody's just starting out, if somebody doesn't have a lot of clients, then no, I'd probably be the first one to tell them you're not quite ready yet. But if you're having some level of success, you're making money, you're not running up huge amounts of debt, but you're stuck, you're not going beyond the next level, then that's somebody who's going to be ideal for this program. I will tell you this, if you're going to ask me from a money standpoint, I do think that for anybody to have a system-based practice, you probably need to be willing to spend at least 5% of revenue putting those in place. And if that's not something you would ever consider, then maybe not. Maybe this wouldn't be for you. But if that's a number that's workable, then I think definitely it would fit in fine. Go ahead.
And Dan, at the end of the presentation, there is a link to schedule a private consultation with Dan and I, and we will talk about your practice. We'll be very candid if we don't think it's work for you, it's going to work for you, or if you're just not ready, if you need to get on down the line a little bit to develop your clientele and your practice and figure out honestly what you're all about. So we'd be happy to talk with anyone who's interested. And I do have another question here regarding systems. Will your system require me to change software and procedures that are already working for me? And the answer, and I'll go ahead and take that one, Paul. Paul, it will not require you to do that. We have outside resources that we use, and Dan has contracted with them to work within your software and make sure that we can dovetail or enhance your software. So if you're using something like Office Tools or Atom or that type of thing, we'll certainly work within your existing systems to improve them. In your second question, procedures that are already in place, we will together take a look at your procedures and see how we can enhance that to take you out of the administrative function in your company. So,
yeah, if it's not broken, the old adage, if it's not broken, we're certainly not going to try to fix it. Sometimes what happens, though, is there is a need, particularly on the marketing communication side, to add additional software if your current one doesn't work. So, for example, if we take your client relation management system, a CRM, they run the gambit. Some are very good at keeping details about the client. Others are excellent as it relates to marketing and ongoing campaigns. So it's going to depend largely what you have, but we're going to try very hard to work with what you already have because, again, what's the goal here? Keep profitability at the forefront. And no one knows better than you or I that adding expense just hurts profitability. Sometimes we have to spend a little bit more, but what we're going to try to do very carefully to work with what you already have. Okay, so again, the 8 systems we have. Business, what's your vision? There's a profitability system, there's a marketing system, there's a selling system, there's an automation system, a referral system, a client retention system, and a succession system. All of these things are customized to you. We have templates for it, but in the end, it's to give you what you need in order to have a profitable practice. These are each the 8 systems. Now, the one thing I want to emphasize is that these systems are constantly being added to, modified, and expanded. The beauty about being an Advisor Architect member is you have lifetime membership. So I'm going to go over the details of the cost in just a second here, but as we enhance things, as we add new features to it, you have access to those. So we're never going to come back to you and say, listen, we're really going to improve the marketing side. We want you to pay more. No. The general philosophy here is if we have something that works, then all members are going to have access to it. Each system has an easy-to-implement manual and video training, but you know what? I don't expect you to learn that way. It's there. If you're like me and you have trouble sleeping at 2:30 in the morning, fine, you can watch it. But in truth, we're going to work you through each system one-on-one. It's going to begin with a meeting in Cincinnati. We put a half day, and the simple reasons for that is you can fly in that morning, you can fly out that evening. The more and more Lisa and I have been talking about it, though, we really, we're going to give you our full day. So if you get in the day before and you're not going to leave till 6 o'clock that night, you've got it. Generally, I find that I start to see smoke coming out of people's ears after about 5 hours, so that's why we called it a half-day visit. Every month, we're going to implement the program, each system with you. In truth, because of accountants and because of tax season, we're looking to do this over 14 months, not 12, but every month you'll be on the phone with us. Now, we'll give you a break during the tax season if that makes sense. Although I would challenge you to say if you can't, even during tax season, to schedule an hour a month, talk with us during that 2-3 month period where things get busy, well, that may speak to the lack of systems that need to be put in place in your office to free you up. In addition, we will have a monthly member conference call just like this. There'll be a monthly newsletter that will go out to you. There'll be a monthly podcast. There's going to be an annual best practices meeting. And of course, you're going to have lifetime access. So all of these things are included. Now, I need to be very careful. This is not for everybody. Just like people who come see me in my office. I do have a fairly large practice, but I'm proud of the fact that I only offer my services to half the people who come in the door. I'm very quick to tell somebody if they're not a fit, and that's particularly true with this product. It's very important to all of us that this be successful and that we only provide it to those people who really can use it. So first of all, if you already have and follow detailed systems, you don't need this. If you already are successful in your mind, you're achieving everything that you need, please don't put yourself through the frustration of learning something new. That's fantastic. I applaud you. If you're not coachable, now, unfortunately, that's a hard thing for somebody to accept. But if you're not coachable, I'll tell you if you're not coachable. Be honest. You know, deep down. This is going to require some change. And if you don't want to make that change, well, then it's not going to work for you. If you like your comfort zone and you don't want to leave it, don't do this program. And then lastly, like I said, if you're not willing to spend at least 5% of your revenue on improving your practice, doing things differently, many times we find waste that can offset that. Less so with accountants, financial advisors, tons of waste. But if you're not willing to invest in that, then this is not for you either. Sam Badgley's a CPA, Williamstown, West Virginia. Like a lot of CPAs, he wanted to venture into financial services. He's allowed me to tell you right now he's got $50 million under management, which at 1% a year, that's a nice revenue stream in addition to his accounting practice. And very kind words, because he said everything that I teach is from my own experience. It's not a bunch of theory or untried practices. So he was one of the original members of Advisor Architect, which was focused at financial advisors. Now, I want to emphasize that I understand that none of you know me, and some of you know Lisa, but a lot of you don't. I don't want you to be feeling like you're taking a risk. So with this program, once you enroll and come to see us in Cincinnati, from the time you meet us in Cincinnati, you have 60 days to change your mind. If you decide this isn't for you, we will refund you back everything that we have charged you. No questions asked. And what is the cost? Well, I'm just going to tell you now because you're all going to send that question anyway. It's 12 installments of $997. And you can access that immediately by going to our website, taxcoachsystem.com/AAA. Now, here's what you need to understand. We're only taking on one new member per month. So as much as I hope there's a huge response to this, just understand that this is something you're going to think about, which is fine. We may not be able to get you into the program until much later, maybe well into next year. The reason that we're only taking on one client per month is my insistence that we have an overcapacity of resources. I'm a big believer that I should underpromise and overdeliver. And like anything that's new, I recognize that we're going to need to make some modifications. And so it's very important that we be able to do that for you. So if any of these things look interesting, well, the only risk you're taking, quite frankly, is a trip to Cincinnati, which really isn't all that bad. It's not even a cicada year this year. So you're able to come here, have a nice time. We'll take you to a nice dinner. And if 60 days after that you decide the program's not for you, that's entirely up to you. You're never going to get a hard sell from us. As much as we love what we're doing here with this program, it's not essential for us to feed our families. So we want to make sure that we're doing it right.
It really isn't. Dan and I both have a passion for helping business owners. And like he said, we don't need to do this to feed our families. We have plenty of other things that we enjoy in our lives, but we are really looking forward to helping you to succeed. And so, yeah, sign up if you're interested.
So a couple things you can do. Number one, give us a call. That's my number there, 513-563-7526. If you call right now, I will not be in the office because I'm in Lisa's office. But
I thought you were going to go with that old pitch. If you call right now, you'll get a Ginsu knife. No, we're not about that.
But my office manager, Trina, will be happy to schedule a time with us to talk. But go to the website, okay? The website was designed to give you all the information that you could possibly need. There's a couple of introductory videos on there. There's even one on there with Ed on there. Ultimately, to sign up for the program, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, that's where you click and you would enter your credit card information. As soon as you become a member, you will get a call from our office to schedule your visit to Cincinnati. And then once you come to Cincinnati, that's when your 60-day trial period will begin. So I'll be honest, we'll bill you immediately, but within 60 days after your visit to Cincinnati, anything, if you decide it's not for you, we'll refund your money, no questions asked. Okay, so I want to thank you all for taking some time here, listening to us talk about this program. We're very excited about it. I've been overwhelmed by the results we've been able to create for financial advisors, and I'm just thrilled for the opportunity to share with another industry, an industry that I really think can get a great deal from it, and that being the accounting industry. So I hope to be talking to many of you. Lisa and I are both excited to talk to many of you in the weeks to come. Again, 513-563-7526. You go to the website, taxcoachsystem.com/AAA. Lisa, any closing thoughts?
Just a couple questions that we have time to address.
Awesome.
Is this instead of Tax Coach or in addition to? And Susan, thank you for asking that question.
Yeah.
Susan and I are familiar with each other, and that's an excellent question. This is a new program that Tax Coach is rolling out, partnering with Dan and his firm, and it is in addition to Tax Coach. Of course, I will incorporate and have incorporated in the program materials the Tax Coach philosophies within the program, but you certainly, you receive enough benefit from Tax Coach, it's entirely separate. And then another question that's more direct, and I'm not sure if we're going to be able to answer it with precision, but here it is from James. If I work hard and smart, which I'm glad to hear that, James, you're ready to do that, what might I expect my ROI to be? Yeah.
You know, James, that's impossible to answer, and simply because I don't know your practice well enough. I will tell you this. Your perceived freedom will be dramatically better, but it's not something that I'm going to be able to quantify for any particular person. Look, $12,000, let's face it, it's not a lot to spend in order to create tremendous amount of efficiency. So if a good tax client, a good business client for you, maybe pays you $5,000 a year, am I confident that we can more than replace that cost with new clients for you? I don't have any doubt at all. But everything in life is going to require a little bit of risk. But to me, the benefits are going to come by the fact that your operation is going to operate in a much more simplified manner. If that's not qualified for you enough or quantified for you, I understand. It's not for everybody. But I've yet to see a successful business that wasn't heavily reliant on systems. And once the systems are in place and allow you to work on your business more than rather in it, well, the return on investment is totally in your control because the opportunities are infinite. But the success and the abilities of the individual person do matter. I've seen that with my financial advisors. Their individual abilities do come into play. But the simplification of their life and the ability to operate in a more profitable, more efficient manner, there's no arguing on that. But I don't want to go to a standard that can be applied to all practices because you're all so different.
You are. And that's why it is a one-on-one coaching program. to capitalize on your uniqueness and what really drives your boat. So Randy is all excited. Got my call scheduled first thing tomorrow morning. Extremely interested, and the timing is great. This is actually a perfect time to start this program to get ahead of it before tax season starts.
Absolutely. So if anybody else has questions, again, don't hesitate to reach out. We'll be as candid as we can possibly be, as you just saw, you know, with the last question before that. So thank you all. It's been great. I really look forward to getting to know many of you, become friends with many of you, and appreciate you taking the time to listen to us this afternoon.
Absolutely. We'll go ahead and send you a copy of this webinar if you'd like to review it again. We'd be happy to do that. Thank you very much for your time, and we hope to hear from you.